Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Fantasy Football Live with the Fantasy Sports Boss. Dolphins, Chiefs, so far has been a dud. It's been all Kansas City, 21-0. As we begin Fantasy Football Week 9. Well, I mean, we began it Thursday with an uninspiring Steelers-Titans game, but now with this blockbuster matchup, at least on paper, in Germany there, which, you know how I feel about these games in Germany. I think it's ridiculous. I can't stand these 9:30 games. But it's been all Kansas City. And this is what I said all week. I was a big backer of Kansas City this week. I took Kansas City as one of my picks of the week. And so far, that's looking pretty good. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Now, as far as this game is concerned, and I have it on here on my phone as I do this with you guys, this is now the third occasion where Miami has played what's considered a good team. And at least so far in this one, just like the two previously, getting their doors blown off. They were, the Eagles and the Bills handed it to them previously, and now the Chiefs are doing the same. So you have to wonder really how good is this Miami team. I do think Tua Tagovailoa right now is the favorite for the MVP with Tyreek Hill second. But this is an uninspiring game for sure. And speaking of uninspiring, really, I have Isaiah Pacheco going today in my 5-3 league, and of course he's only got 4 fantasy points. They don't throw him the ball. It's a positive game script for him at least. Hopefully he's got a big second half coming, but nothing has gone right for me in that one league, and 7-1 in the other. So I'm hoping that the good times continue with that. But we got to see. Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know if it's whether they want to compete or not. I just don't know if they're in the same class as the Chiefs. And Rashee Rice, another touchdown, guys. Rashee Rice, who I've been screaming to the rafters about all season, telling you guys to go out and get him, another touchdown today. So he is firmly the number 2 target behind Travis Kelce in the Chiefs pecking order in terms of targets, and another big outing. Although I don't know, is that his only catch? But again, he scores a touchdown, so it doesn't even matter. As far as today is concerned, like we always do, 11:30 is the update, the injury update for 1 o'clock. We have a couple of key guys. Josh Downs is going to try to give it a go. He's going to have to warm up though. But this is a 4 o'clock start for the Indianapolis Colts, Carolina Panthers, which is concerning if you are a Downs owner like myself. I'm not, Adam Schefter came out this morning and said he's on track to play or to start, whatever. But they still have to test it out before the game. And this leaves me a little bit concerned about starting him. So, I have Chuba Hubbard on my bench that I was thinking putting him out there, and because I have Downs in the flex. Like I said, I really got to try to stop the bleeding on this 5-3 team that looks like it's headed toward 5-4 now after a 5-0 start. I can't even believe that that's where I'm at now with that team. But the injuries have just been so bad. I have Jefferson, Montgomery, Connor all sitting there on my bench. I've already lost Mike Williams. Like, it's just no way to recover from that for sure. Hey, Justin, how are you? Olave against the Bears. Yeah, I was thinking about going Taysom Hill, but my concern about that one is that the Saints go up so big early, because Tyson Bagent's not going to be able to move the football against a really stout Saints defense, that they might call off the dogs in the second half. Would you drop Stevenson and pick up Hubbard? No, I wouldn't do that. Ramondre Stevenson actually has a really good matchup today, so I would play Ramondre Stevenson, no doubt about it. And they say that Hubbard is going to split carries with Miles Sanders. There's pressure to justify some of the expenditure that they use on Miles Sanders, giving him that big contract. So that could be why they're force feeding it to him. But honestly, I think Ramondre Stevenson makes a good play for today. And as far as Taysom Hill is concerned, listen, the guy's been getting a lot of work, right? I mean, with Juwan Johnson back, the targets aren't there, but the rushing opportunities are there, and he's going to continue to get goal line work over Alvin Kamara, who's going to be moving the ball in between the 20s. Roshan, Demario Douglas. I'm going Demario Douglas. I disagree, Eddie. I'm tired of waiting for Roshan. Every week we have the same discussion about Roshan Johnson. We're now in week 9, whereas Douglas has a plush matchup against the Commanders. I'm going with him for sure. Thoughts on Josh Downs? Yeah, Ray, and I talked about this before. I don't know if you just popped in, but it's risky because they're saying he's going to play, but the fact that they still have to test him out has me concerned. He's clearly hobbled. There's a chance for him to exit early. It's a good matchup, but if I wait on this, I'm losing the opportunity to start Chuba Hubbard, who's got a good matchup as well. Devin Singletary, he doesn't have a good matchup, but there's some other guys that I could be putting in there, and I really don't have anybody else for 4:00. I mean, I could pick up Brandon Cooks, but that's very uninspiring. Mark, yeah, thank you for asking. We did have a playoff game, our first round, and we won 55-26. Like, we absolutely killed it. So, and the score really wasn't even that close. They scored a couple of garbage time touchdowns. We actually started taking a knee with 4 minutes to go in the game because we just didn't want to embarrass them anymore. It was the right thing to do. So we're on to the next round 2 of a possible 4. So thank you for asking. I appreciate that. 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, Cup, Flowers, Puka, Hawkinson, Kincaid. 2 wideouts. I'm going Cup and Flowers. And then I'm going to go Kincaid because I think there's going to be a lot of passing in that game. Roll the dice on Downs. Might just flex Dell. Yeah, I mean, I also had that option, Charles. I'm not putting Dell in there. I saw enough last week. He just wasn't involved enough. Now, of course, this will be the week he goes off because that's how it goes in fantasy football. I mean, there's always a chance Dell, catches that one big bomb. Actually, you're starting to talk me into that. I might have to go back and look at that. But, I wasn't happy with the lack of targets from Tank Dell last week. But Robert Woods is out again this week. Would you pick up any of these 4 guys off of waivers? Ingram, Demario Douglas? Douglas. I would definitely pick up Douglas. Pick up 2 PPR. Pick 2 Rice, Terry, Addison, Puka. Well, Rice is playing now, Hayden, and he scored a touchdown. I assume you mean Terry McLaurin. I would go McLaurin and Puka, even though Matthew Stafford's probably not playing. All right, so it seems obvious that Stafford's not going to be out there today. It's going to be Brett Rippon, so Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp should be downgraded in terms of the outlook and whether it's standard or PPR, just because they're going to lean more heavily on Darrell Henderson, who I think makes a decent starting option today against a soft defense in Green Bay. Seattle with the upset. Seattle's funny. They could win any game. I mean, they're so well coached. They have the right pieces. I mean, they have a strong defense. Devin Witherspoon, to me, is the rookie of the defensive rookie of the year. He's just been tremendous, right? And it's really made a big difference for them. They're winning games, as they always seem to do under Pete Carroll. They're tough, but I think this Baltimore team is a Super Bowl contender, although I would have loved to have seen the Ravens go out and get a running back at the trade deadline. Didn't happen. Singletary or Roschon. I mean, Roschon has more upside. Singletary, it's not a good matchup for him. The Buccaneers have given up 1 single touchdown on the ground this season. Would you sit Puka in the flex and play Hawkinson? Yes, I would do that. I think Hawkinson's going to be involved. Start JSN over Pollard if Metcalf or Lockett don't play. They've both been cleared, so Metcalf and Lockett are playing, so I would still go Tony Pollard. Hey, Armando, how are you? I'm 7-1 in one league, 5-3 in another. Hurting that running back with Williams on IR. Who should I pick up as running back 2? Sarminator Johnson or drop someone for Akers, Zeke, Ingram, or Gainwell. If you're looking for somebody who's going to get the most workload, it's going to be Ingram. Keontae Ingram, because there's no Demercado. He's not playing today. So that would be my pick if you're looking for a workload guy to plug in there. Carr, Watson, Howell today. Feel like I can't trust what? No, you can't trust Watson. Howell's got a tough matchup. I would go Carr. They're throwing it a lot. The only thing I worry about with the Saints is that they're going to be up so big that they're going to be, running it a lot in the second half. And I mean, listen, Alvin Kamara has been unbelievable. Like, we all know he can catch the ball. And he's got the right quarterback now in Derek Carr, who loves to throw underneath. He did that with Josh Jacobs last year. And part of the reason Jacobs is not anywhere near where he was last year is because the receptions have dropped off as well. And we saw that previously with Najee Harris once Ben Roethlisberger retired as well. Pollard for Eckler, I would definitely do that. If somebody offered that to you, I would do that in a second. Josh Downs is risky. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm thinking I'm going to have to go like Charles said, maybe Tank Dell or Chuba Hubbard. The only thing about Chuba Hubbard is if Miles Sanders is involved, and Sanders is the bigger back of the two, he might get the goal line work. I don't like these committees where the guy that you have may not get the goal line work. Josh, start Hollywood Brown, Stevenson, and flex Stevenson. I think Stevenson. Hollywood Brown next week is going to start taking off. Wan'Dale Robinson, yeah, I mean, he's got a good thing going with Daniel Jones. They don't have Darren Waller, who's on IR. I mean, what a disaster with Darren Waller. I mean, it never stops with this guy getting hurt. He can't ever stay healthy. It was a busted pick on my part. Part of it was homerism. I'll be perfectly honest with you. As a Giants fan, I'd be like, all right, great. I get to watch Darren Waller every week. He looked like he was going to be the number one guy by far on a receiver-needy Giants team. And we all know the issues that have plagued the Giants all season have been primarily on the offensive side of the ball, not protecting Daniel Jones, not being able to do much of anything. And I think the Raiders defense make for a pretty good matchup for them. I think they're going to, the Giants give up the second most points to opposing defenses in fantasy. So that's a good matchup going for them. And how about Antonio Pierce? Antonio Pierce, the new head coach of the Raiders, is the same Antonio Pierce who tried to hide Plaxico Burress's gun after the gun went off at the nightclub that derailed the possible Giants defense of their Super Bowl. So not the most upstanding character to have, but this is the Raiders way, right? I mean, this is a team, all of their recent, not all, but most of their recent first round picks have been dogged with gun charges, DUIs, manslaughter, all of this nonsense with the Raiders. Some of their draft picks have been just downright embarrassing. So par for the course there about, hiring Antonio Pierce, which I think is just a big joke. Traded James Cook for Deontay Johnson. Hey, yeah, that works. I mean, James Cook, I don't think is going to be nearly as he's going to see a decrease in touches with Leonard Fournette there. Leonard Fournette was brought in for a reason. He still can catch the ball. He still can serve as a goal line back. He doesn't have as much speed anymore at this stage of the game. And he's probably going to have to work off some rust and some poundage. But, he is a threat to James Cook. Rashid Shaheed or Jaden Reed. See, the problem with Shaheed is he is very touchdown, big play dependent. But it seems to be working. I would lean him just slightly for sure. Henry Ruggs, it was just awful. And then one of their other top, first round picks or whatever had some massive off the field troubles with guns and, just incidents, pulling guns on people. I forget his name. And you're welcome, Angelo. It's just a joke. And even going back to Sebastian Janikowski as a first round pick, a kicker is a first round pick. I don't care who it is. I don't care, if it's, the best kicker of all time, right? I don't care if it was Adam Vinatieri, who in my opinion is the best kicker of all time, at least in the modern game. It's just ridiculous. Brandon Cooks. So Brandon Cooks is somebody I was looking at as a possible Josh Downs replacement. He scored 2 weeks in a row, but he's touchdown dependent. It's going to be a high scoring game against the Eagles. They always seem to end up that way when these two teams play. So, as far as the rest of the season, no, I wouldn't. I just would play him today, if anything. Waller was a bust the last, 2 years for the Raiders, not prior to that. He had those 2 magical seasons where he was 90 plus catches and 1,000 yards and, 9 touchdowns one year. So, Waller was really good. But his body has been ravaged. He's had a lot of substance abuse trouble earlier in his career that got him suspended. That does take a toll on their, anybody who's involved with that. We tend to see injuries become a problem for these players, and that has been the issue for Darren Waller as well. He just can't ever stay healthy, and it's really the hamstring that has been the problem more than anything. Dallas Goedert's fine. The problem with Dallas Goedert, and not AJ Brown because he's the clear guy, but Devontae Smith is one of those two guys are not going to go off each week because it's a run heavy attack still, and you have AJ Brown, and then who's the complementary piece, and Goddard and Smith have kind of been trading that back and forth. And as far as Jalen Hurts is concerned, like he looked bad last week moving around. Like his knee is a problem. He tried to downplay it this week. He got a little testy with the media. He didn't want to talk about it, which is fine. but he was limping around last week, and he barely ran the ball at all. I think he had 4 yards rushing. So if he's not running with the ball, that's a red flag right there. So as we get ready for the start of the second half of Miami and Kansas City, that is a red flag. And Jalen Waddle banged up earlier. He came back, then he went out again. So Jalen Waddle's been beat up. We have to see there, man. $85 million. Well, hey, yeah, only in America, right? And Josh McDaniels is not going to get another job after this. No, he's not 100%. He's got a knee injury. He's wearing a brace on his knee. He barely ran last week. Talking about Jalen Hurts. What's funny too about Belichick is his coaching tree is not good. Romeo Crennel. All right, so Brett Rippon officially starting today. Matthew Stafford inactive. So there it is. So downgrade Puka Nacua, downgrade Cooper Kupp, boost Darrell Henderson because it's going to be run heavy. All right, so I'm playing Puka in one of my leagues today. So this is, somewhat decent news. But Matthew Stafford is out today. Brett Rippon getting the start. Eckler and Lamb gonna have to save my weekend. Yeah, I need Lamb too. I really need Isaiah Pacheco to do something in the second half of this goddamn game. Like I can't stand it. How nothing is going right in my one league. I just can't stop the bleeding. I can't stop the bleeding. I just don't know what else to do anymore. I just got to get into the playoffs and hope that Connor, Montgomery, and Jefferson are all there and available. I should get in. Now next week I have a really good matchup because my opponent has basically his whole team on a bye. So, but I'm not taking anything for granted. Do we get Claypool or Berrios? I don't know. Is he out there right now? I know the second half is just beginning. I wasn't paying attention. I don't know. I didn't see if he came out yet. Yeah. So let me see. I don't see. Yeah, he's out there. So Jalen Waddle's out there. So it looks like he's okay. Raheem Mostert too. This is another dud for Raheem Mostert. So I'm not impressed with this, with the way Miami's been playing against these good teams. I'm just not. And this is a concern. Like I said, I still think Tua Tagovailoa is the heavy favorite right now for MVP. I think Lamar Jackson can get there as well if they have a big finish. What was I talking? Oh, Bill Belichick. So the coaching tree on Bill Belichick, like I said, has not been good at all. Whereas Andy Reid's coaching tree has been good. Josh McDaniels is another failed guy to go along with, what's his name? Oh my God, Eric Mangini. Although I think he was unfairly fired. Despite having a winning record. And actually, Mostert gets loose for one of his few big gains for today. Romeo Crennel, he went bust as well. And Joe Judge, that was ugly. The Detroit Lions guy, I forgot his name off the top of my head with the pencil in his ear. He was just awful. So looks like this is coming back. Nothing's going right for Miami today. It looks like my fantasy team. Yeah, Steve, I'm telling you, man, it's just, every year I say it, go receiver. So, zero running back. This year, it was all about the value running backs, right? And honestly, they all were, if they didn't get hurt. Now, all running backs have been getting hurt. So but you can withstand a running back injury in round 4 or 5 or 6. The value running backs this year are pretty much all hitting, right? James Conner was hitting before he got hurt. David Montgomery was definitely hitting before he got hurt. Rashad White is really coming on now. He was another one of those value guys. Breece Hall really coming on. He was a value. Even Kenneth Walker kind of dropped down a little bit. All of these guys made good, whereas the top guys have pretty much all been going bust again. I was giving us that Chiefs DD saying once and that turns into an offensive play. Oh man, yeah. I didn't see that, Jermaine. I know I was getting ready to come on when all that happened. So it's now an offensive play. Oh man. Oh God, that sucks. I have to be honest with you. I didn't see. I saw them running it back, but I didn't see about the lateral and whatnot. So, wow. Yeah, that sucks. Imagine you lose your matchup now because of that, because the Chiefs didn't get credit for that score. Miami just looks completely lost right now offensively. 3rd and 17. It's just, but ESPN gave it. So there you go. How do you figure that, right? Yeah, this is embarrassing for Miami right now. And they arrived in Germany like 2 days ahead of the Chiefs did. So they wanted to acclimate to the clock. I don't know if anybody's hurting today too with the daylight savings, putting the clocks back. I got up at 5 o'clock this morning because I tried to, you know, get up because really it was like 6 o'clock from my internal clock, which is when I usually get up for work during the week. And I'm hoping tonight I can, I'll be exhausted, so I'll just fall asleep and get back on schedule. I think I'm gonna take over Pacheco. McKinnon, you mean? Why is that? Second half of the season? No, I don't think so. No, 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 no. I know Pacheco. He got a little banged up at the end of the first half. I don't know if anything's going on with him. No, he's a third round. He's a third down back. And Pacheco's been fine. I mean, last week they had the game script go against him, so there was no. They had to play catch up, and that's when they're going to put McKinnon in when they're passing the ball. And McKinnon is what he is. He's a third down back who can really catch the football, and he's not much of a runner. So no, he's not a threat to Pacheco. And Pacheco's running it pretty good today. He's been open too, and Mahomes is just missing him. And it's not what's with all these penalties too on the Chiefs. He's just not seeing him. So Mahomes is scrambling and not finding Pacheco, down the field when Pacheco's been open. So the Chiefs are going to get the ball. Steve, they've beaten up a lot of cupcakes. Listen, it's a good offensive attack when they're playing weaker defensive teams. And one of the things about the Chiefs that they're not getting enough credit for this season is how good their defense has been. Like, it's been really, really good. It's been like a top 5 unit in fantasy. So, that has helped carry them because offensively they still are not looking that great. Even today, I mean, they benefited from some big plays. The first drive was really good, but it's been a bit of a slog since. And if you're a Pat Mahomes owner, it's testing your patience a little bit. So the Chiefs will be passing more the second half of the season. I mean, yeah, they could, but they're going to stick with Pacheco first and second down. Actually, Pacheco has been involved in the passing game this season, although not the last couple of weeks, or at least certainly not today. He doesn't even have a catch. So I need him to get going. I really do. So we'll have to see. But like I said, as far as my teams, I have one team that's really strong, 7-1. I have a tough matchup this week. I'm actually slightly the underdog because my opponent had Deontay Johnson Thursday, and he had 22 fantasy points in PPR. But I'm sitting real pretty with that team right now. It's just my 5-0 team that's now 5-3. I can't stand it. I really hate that team now. And there's nothing I can do. And the last 2 weeks too, I've been playing high-powered, high-scoring teams. So like nothing has gone my way at all. So waiting for this 11:30 injury update to come out. We already heard about Matthew Stafford. Haven't gotten any indication yet about Josh Downs. Usually these things start to trickle out, even though it's a 4:00 game. We like to get some more clarity on that. Nothing yet. And you know what? Like, just once, I would love to see one of my guys like reel off like an 80-yard run. Like I love when other people get it and get great big big gains and whatnot. I never seem to get those big 50+ yard runs and things like that. I just don't seem to be able to catch them this year in that one league. Betting on a Saints game, running Carr, Olave Thompson. Yeah, I just want the Bears to be somewhat competitive, so that way they stay aggressive with Taysom, because they're not going to use Taysom in the second half. And thank God Pacheco's out there. I don't know, man. That's not the easiest. The Bears going to have major trouble staying close. Zach Charbonnet is always a stash. So. Zach Charbonnet is always a stash because, again, he's averaging over 5 yards per carry. And he's got the ability to be a top 10 back in a PPR league if something were to happen to Kenneth Walker. Ingram, I'm going to buy him. It was either Taysom or Logan. I actually probably would have went Logan just because I think that the Commanders are going to be throwing it a decent amount. Whereas, again, I don't know how much the Saints are going to do. Start one full running back, full PPR. All right, so the Chiefs with another first down. Keontae Ingram, Charbonnet, or Game. I'm gonna have to go. Ingram should get more work, Dylan. That's the thing. But the Browns, I get it. Boy, that's ugly. Maybe Gainwell. Yeah, I don't know, man. You're not going to get much of anything. You're going to hope to catch some passes. I I guess Gainwell. Ingram does have a really tough matchup. That's true. So, um, yeah, close your eyes and put Gainwell anywhere in there and just hope for the best. That's it. That's all I can say to you about that one. So, I don't know. Yeah, that's not an ideal that's not an ideal scenario for sure. I mean, Miami's got to start showing some pride here in this game. I mean, they're letting the Chiefs just do whatever they want offensively. Atlanta, Minnesota, Houston, or Giants defense, not the Giants. They just got traded Leonard Williams. I like Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota's putting up decent points and they're getting after the quarterback. Oh man, that is an awful pass by Pat Mahomes. And Rico Dowdle is a stash for me. If anything happens to Tony Pollard, he has shown he has some ability. Pick one, PPR, Dell Moss or Gus Edwards. PPR, I can't go Gus Edwards, so I'd have to go Dell. So they projected to win full PPR start one, Hollywood or Downs. MT. Commence against Carolina. Yeah, I don't know, man. Michael Thomas. I guess Michael Thomas because you're getting a floor on him. And this one's going to be coming back. So Charbonnet or Royce Freeman. I have to go Royce Freeman because he's going to be used a lot today in conjunction with Darrell Henderson. So I think that Kyler Murray is definitely top 10. No doubt about it. Kyler Murray is a top 10 quarterback when he's healthy, when they finally put him out there. So I guess what they wanted to do is they wanted to avoid the Cleveland matchup. All right. So Ryan Poles says Justin Fields has a chance to return Thursday. So Justin Fields has a shot after missing, was it 3 games now or 4 games to return Thursday. I still think they're going to move on from him. I don't think they're going to bring him back next season. I picked up Justin Fields. I mean, if somebody dropped Justin Fields, that's kind of stupid. To drop somebody like that. I don't understand that. And Kyler Murray, I picked up Kyler Murray in both of my leagues. I need him as a prime trade chip in case there's some, major quarterback injuries. I mean, the Chiefs haven't exactly been protecting Mahomes in this game. Oh, man, he just missed getting the first down. So, yeah, man, I mean, I don't know. It hasn't been good for me today in terms of fantasy points for Isaiah Pacheco. I think he's got, 5 and change. So, whatever. It is what it is. Someone dropped Achane. That's stupid, too. Anybody dropping Devin Achane. And especially with Mostert, who hasn't done anything again today. That certainly will keep the door ajar for Devin Achane. All right, so just about a minute to go before the injury report, and then I'm going to drop out of here, and we're going to, of course, the instant injury update videos throughout the course. Oh man, you have Tua in 2 leagues. Yeah, it's not looking good today for Tua, that's for sure. Oh my God, it's been bad. But instant injury update videos throughout the course of the day, and all the big performance. Any random thoughts too I have, sometimes I jump on there and put out some videos as well. So we got to see what happens. Yeah, I mean, this is the drive now. Miami's got to get something going this drive, or they have no chance to hang anywhere near close, stay close in this game the rest of the way. With the Chiefs up 21-0, it hasn't been good, to say the least. And this is the 3rd time now Miami's playing a good team, and they haven't gotten. They've really gotten their doors blown off. I mean, it happened against Buffalo, the Eagles, they got a defensive score. So, we just got to see. All right. So Saints, all right. How much? All right. Nothing big coming out so far. Kendry Miller is active today. Fool's gold doesn't get the targets. Got lucky. I disagree. I mean, he's not. His snap share needs to go up a little more. I get it, but he's been consistently 10 to 15 fantasy points every week, and so there's something to be said for that, Eddie. Curtis Samuel is out today. He is inactive. We kind of knew that was coming. Michael Wilson inactive for the Cardinals. All right, so yeah, really nothing too extravagant today in terms of the injury report. Picks this week. Who do you like for dogs? I like Seattle, Washington. Yeah, I'm gonna post that on the message board. So I did have one of my picks this week was the Chiefs, so that's looking pretty good. Brandon Cooks or Jacoby Myers. Oh God, I'd have to go Brandon Cooks. I can't trust anybody with the Raiders right now. So we know Justin Fields is out, as we said. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. So we're still waiting on Josh Downs, and we'll have to see how that turns out later in the week. Later in the day. Addison or Gabe Davis? I'm going Gabe Davis. He's finally showing some consistency. And Quentin, Damian Pierce, Robert Woods are out. So as far as Quentin, I mean, it's been a slow learning curve for him as well. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf both playing today, so no issues there. All right, guys, let's go. As Tim says, let's win today. Hopefully we have some good news later on today to report. Good luck today with all your matchups. Hope all your players stay healthy. I'll chat with all of you later. Look for the instant injury update videos as well, and we will chat soon. Okay, guys? So have a good day. Enjoy the games, and I'll chat with all of you later.